Hey guys, it's Sim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and that means it's time to talk about Monday Night Raw. I'm going to be honest, tonight's Raw felt long. Like, the show started, and by the time it was over, I'm like, geez, this show is still going? Like, all honesty, this show, this show felt very, very, very long. And it wasn't all that great. I'm going to be completely honest. It wasn't all that great of a show. Let me reposition. I thought the show was average at best. It was just an all right show. Wasn't anything special. And I'm like sitting here watching it. By the time that Miz Logan Paul segment comes on the end, I look down at the clock and I'm like, God, it took forever, didn't it? Like, this show just felt long and things dragged, and it just wasn't a great show. Hopefully next week in Madison Square Garden, the go home show for SummerSlam, feel a lot better. But with that, I want to say thank you if you are watching us here live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or if you're watching or listening later, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Google Pod, Apple Pod, and so many more. If you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. Hold on. Kids left the case for our Switch on the table, on the couch over there, and it's just the buckle on it is glaring on the screen. I don't know if it's taking anybody else's attention away, but it's taking mine away. Give me 1 second to fix it. So much better. Because my eye is just going straight at that little silver dot. Well, it was. Now we're good. But if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime or access to anybody's Amazon Prime account, then you, well, can turn that into a Prime Gaming account. You take that Twitch account, you take that Amazon Prime account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of fun stuff like free games, free stuff for games, and it always gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout for the month. And I really appreciate if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But also remember, it doesn't have to be your Twitch account. It can be anybody's Twitch account, whether that's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your grandma, your grandpa, your auntie, your uncle, your best friend's wife, your best friend's wife's mother, your best friend's wife's mother, sister, brother's uncle. Anybody. It could be anybody's Amazon Prime account. You just link it to your Twitch. Doesn't cost anything to do so. Bada bing, bada boom. You're good to go. You're good to go. But on the flip side, if you follow us over on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well by hitting that join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Also, remember, you can get all of that, but more directly support us in an easier to access area over at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Also, remember, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Buy something like, well, a new game. Buy something like an old game. Claim a free game or get bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys. When you do, it's going to ask you to check out if you have a creator code, and you do, it's PW Unlimited. Use the Epic creator code PW Unlimited at checkout to support us for no extra cost. It doesn't cost you anything extra. If you're already buying something through the Epic Game Store on your computer, or getting bucks on Fortnite and Rocket League on your PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch, then bada bing, bada boom, there you go. But with that, we've got Monday Night Raw to talk about that did kick off with Titus O'Neil of all peoples. Titus Worldwide shocked crap out of me. I'm like, whoa, because Monday Night Raw starts, and you hear Mike Rome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome he says something along the lines of like, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce WWE Global Brand Ambassador. And then he stops. And then you see the light go, boom, in the center of the ring. And the camera's like way off top of the building, right? And then he goes, Titus O'Neil. And I'm like, what the hell is Titus doing? What the hell is Titus doing out here? And boy, howdy, I'm going to give you my assumption. I know I don't like to say, I always say, you know what assuming means, but let's run the segment down. And then I'll tell you what I think this was for, what I think this all meant. So they're in Tampa, and that's where Titus O'Neil is from. So cool, hometown boy. O'Neil said that he has accomplished a lot in his career, but he reached his peak by becoming a WWE ambassador and part of the WWE Hall of Fame. He basically keeps calling himself a Hall of Famer. He said they needed goodwill now more than ever. It was their jobs to put smiles on faces, whether that meant helping the less fortunate, entertaining U.S. servicemen and women across the world, or assisting families. O'Neil said that you will never hear them, the WWE that is, talk about politics or religion or anything that is divisive. WWE is a safe space to ensure we could all have a good time. O'Neil then said, welcome to Monday Night Raw. And I'm sitting here watching this and I go, you know what? I know what this is. Is there another Vince story coming and Vince wanted to get ahead of it and maybe there's something to do with race in that story? No offense, Titus O'Neil, but he put Titus on TV to say, this place is all inclusive. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about race. We don't talk about anything that can make people feel like they're not welcome. That's basically what Titus said. So, is there another Vince story coming out where someone or some people, multiples, or I don't know how many, say that they felt like they were unwelcomed in WWE? I have a feeling that's what this could have been. WWE and Vince McMahon getting out ahead of something that they know is coming. And if that's true, then there might be a new story on Vince or the company itself coming out tomorrow, because when the second Vince McMahon story came out with the Wall Street Journal, one of the board members actually quit the day before. And everyone's assuming that he did so to get ahead of the second Vince story that they knew was coming and not want to be associated with that because, well, $7.5 million. Anyway, so is this them knowing another story is coming and wanting to get ahead of it, saying, no, we're inclusive. Nope. Everyone feels equals here. Everyone feels welcomed and wanted. So that's how I took that segment. I don't know if that's wrong or right, but that's how I took it. I also want to say thank you to Esports Gaming Rules 316 for the Tier 1 subscription on Twitch for 3 months. Thank you for that. Magmalord says, I really like Raw tonight, but I bet a lot of people that usually hate Raw are not going to like the episode wasn't TVPG. Well, the episode was never supposed to be TVPG. Andrew Zarian got his information, and I'm just going to say it, mixed up. USA Network wants the show to eventually go TVPG, but not yet. Eventually, maybe even sometime soon, it's going TVPG. But, excuse me. Like, that segment, it screamed, we need to get ahead of another story coming out soon. It screamed, oh, no, we're a place of inclusion. Everybody is welcome here. That's what that segment screamed. Next about came Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch entered for a promo. Called herself Big Time Bex Express. She talked about the little engine that couldn't. She goes, I'm not a little blue engine. I'm the Big Time Bex Express. She made a couple more train references. She said that she was happy to inform us that she got a little information today from officials in WWE. and that is that at SummerSlam, she will be challenging for the Raw Women's Championship. Whether that is Bianca Belair retaining tonight or Carmella becoming the new champion, it didn't matter. Becky would get her shot at SummerSlam. And I'm like, damn, WWE just did a year-long storyline. Everyone bitches and moans that WWE doesn't do anything long-term. They just did a story for a full year with Becky and Bianca, and technically Carmella as well, because Carmella was involved in the initial opening bits of this storyline. Carmella was supposed to challenge Bianca for the title last year at SummerSlam. Becky came out and returned, just missed Carmella basically, just said, get the heck out of here, and then won in 26 seconds. What are you talking about, esports gaming? If the network says they want the show to be TV-14, the show will be TV-14. Trust me. If the network says we want TV-14, the show will be TV-14. Bianca Belair would interrupt, and Belair said that this was not Lynch's comeback story. This was Belair's comeback story of her own. And I'm like, really? You already hit your comeback when you won the title back. Well, is she kind of it back? Can you say Bianca won the title back from Becky? Because technically, Becky won the SmackDown belt at SummerSlam, then moved to Raw, and they just said, oh, no, you're the Raw champion. And then the next time Becky lost the title was to Bianca, but on Raw. So do you say Bianca won the belt back, or Bianca just... It's kind of confusing. Anyways, also, I don't know why this would be a comeback for either woman. Lynch caught her off guard a year ago, she said, but she has worked hard to regain her reputation. She said that she did that by winning the title at WrestleMania and beating and she will do so by beating Carmella tonight, and then would complete the last chapter by beating Lynch at SummerSlam. Carmella would then interrupt, and she goes, hey, don't overlook me, because I'm a badass with a great ass. I think Corey Graves used that line last week. She thought it was convenient that Belair got counted out last week. Carmella announced that the title will change hands this week if Bianca gets counted out. Belair said she didn't want to hear anymore, but as she spoke, Lynch and Carmella attacked her and beat her down. Excuse me. Belair fought off Carmella, but Lynch dropped her with a manhandle slam. We go to commercial break. Excuse me, I got something caught in my throat. So when we come back, Belair's in the corner, and the ref's like, you want to go? You want the match to happen? You want this match to start, Bianca? Like, yeah, let's go. Becky on commentary. Match goes almost 10.5 minutes long. Lynch tried to distract Belair early on in the match and almost forced a count out. Belair got back into the ring and went after Carmella. Carmella tried to win by count out again. First by driving Belair into the ring post, then by chucking her into the timekeeper's area. Carmella at one point also dropped Belair off the middle ropes onto the steel steps on the outside, and Belair each time got into the ring by 8. This led to yet another commercial break. After the break, Belair fought back and hit a standing moonsault for a 2. Carmella came right back with a super kick for a 2. Belair caught Carmella with a high cross attempt and transitioned into a vertical suplex. Carmella followed this up with a facebuster for a 2. Carmella then slapped Belair in the face, so Belair grabbed her and hit the KOD to pick up the victory. Belair retains the title, and she will be defending the title against Becky come SummerSlam. In the back, Sarah Schreiber with Street Profits talked about their upcoming match at SummerSlam. Angelo Dawkins said he was excited about Jeff Jarrett as a special guest referee because he would keep the Usos in line. Now, would he? Because Jeff Jarrett working double duty SummerSlam weekend. If you didn't hear the news, Jeff Jarrett's going to wrestle Ric Flair. So if you didn't hear the news, speaking of Jeff Jarrett, the night after SummerSlam, July 31st, Sunday in Nashville, he will be teaming with Jay Lethal to take on the team of Ric Flair and Andrade El Idolo. Now, in this match, you're going to think, oh, Jeff Jarrett's going to go in there. He's going to call it down the middle. He's going to be a baby face, blah, 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 blah. Well, the next night, he's going to be a super heel. If you didn't watch the video, beat the shit out of Ric Flair and busted him open. So it's like one night, he's going to come in here and probably be a babyface. Call it down the middle. Be a stern referee. Then the next night, not for WWE though, he's going to go out and he's going to work against Rick as a major heel. Also, Rick said in that match he wants to crossbody somebody off the top rope. He said he wants to jump off the top rope and do a crossbody. Like, what the hell? This man busted himself open in a parking lot. This man wants to do a crossbody off the top. Rick's crazy. But kudos for Jeff Jarrett, the senior vice president of live events in WWE, or senior or executive vice, something like that. Maybe it's senior vice president. Going out there and also doing this match. Like, what? He's working SummerSlam and Ric Flair's last match. But anyways. Montez Ford said that it didn't matter which Jeff was the referee and dropped a Jeff Gordon name. He literally said, I don't care if it's Jeff Jarrett, Jeff Gordon, Jeff whoever. I'm like, oh, ho, ho, ho. Jeff Gordon reference on Monday Night Raw. I mean, you see that entire second row of hats except for the first two, all Jeff Gordon hats. All Jeff Gordon hats. You know, this kid was a little giddy when they dropped Jeff Gordon's name on Raw. MVP and Omos would interrupt, though. MVP reminded Dawkins that he got beat by Omos last week, so Dawkins invited them to fight right now. MVP said that he wasn't able to wrestle, but happily go to Adam Pearce and suggest a singles match, Dawkins versus Omos. So next up, we got the return of Kevin Owens. Owens has been out of action for a couple of weeks, about a little under a month. And we still don't know what was going on with him, but he's back. I mean, it wasn't so bad that it's nothing that kept him at home every week. He was at the freaking NHL draft. But Kevin Owens happily announced that the KO show was back and introduced his guest, Riddle. Riddle said that he was here because Owens promised him a Mountain Dew Baja Blast. And boys, Mountain Dew Baja Blast, great. Pro tip. You take your Mountain Dew Baja Blast, right? You get a scoop of vanilla ice cream, and you dunk it right in there. Just dunk it right in your cup, bottle, whatever, of Baja Blast. Preferably cup. The ice cream will fit in there better. It'll foam up and fizz, and it tastes so good. Oh, it tastes so good. Put vanilla ice cream in your Baja Blast. Trust me. Trust me. Owens said that he didn't know what Riddle was talking about, though. Owens mentioned that he hasn't been around for the past few weeks, but figured Riddle may not have noticed, given that he's in his own little world all the time anyways. Owens said that he left because he became too obsessed over Ezekiel and Elias, so he went on a little nature retreat. Nature retreat at the NHL draft. Owens then said that he watched Raw and noticed how mellow Riddle always was. Owens wasn't sure if Riddle had some assistance to say so mellow, but wanted to be more like him. Owens called out Riddle because of his match against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Owens said that Riddle used to be his best friend. No, Owens said Rollins used to be his best friend, but then Rollins betrayed him. Owens lost his best friend the same way Riddle lost his best friend. Owens said that everybody needed backup in WWE and realized the answer was staring right in front of him. That RK Bro was good, but Bro KO would be great. And I'm like, no, it should be KO Bro. It should be KO Bro, not Bro KO. Anyways, with a smile on his face, Riddle told Owens that he appreciated the offer, but you're like the biggest liar I know, dude. Owens noted that Riddle trusted a snake in Randy Orton. who was the least trustworthy person in all of WWE. Riddle was pissed and got in Owens' face. Then, music of Seth freaking Rollins would hit, but he didn't come out. Didn't come out from the ramp. Riddle was distracted watching the Titantron, waiting for Riddle to come out the front when he was attacked from behind. Rollins laid out Riddle with a stomp, and Owens disappeared. We go to break, and when we come back, Seth Rollins is walking around the back when he's stopped by Kevin Patrick. Kevin Patrick asked Rollins why he's so triggered and has to target Riddle. Rollins said that Riddle is stupid and that it was driving him insane, and his stupidity was turning into arrogance. Riddle was so stupid that he thought Orton actually liked him, so arrogant that he wanted to fight him at SummerSlam. Ezekiel will then interrupt, and he'd literally go, "Hey, why are you out there stomping Riddle like that, putting his health in jeopardy?" I'm like, what? That was dumb. Rollins was like, "Hey, don't tell me what to do or what I can't do, or I'll stomp you, or Elias, or Elrod, or whoever you are." He's like, "Hey, don't talk about my family. You know what? I want to fight you." And I'm like, all right, this is kind of dumb. And Rollins just laughed and walked off. They got a Judgment Day promo. This seemed to drag a little bit, this whole thing. With Judgment Day and the match and then the post-match. It kind of dragged a little. Excuse me. Damian Priest guaranteed that Dominic Mysterio would join the Judgment Day tonight. He knew that Dominic couldn't wait to drop his father. Priest showed a replay of Judgment Day taking out Edge. Finn Balor bragged about what they did. I think it may have been Corey Graves. No, I can't remember who it was. Somebody on commentary was like, all right, so we're going to see that for like the 10,000th time? I think it was Corey. Finn Balor bragged about what they did, but he was quickly cut off by the music of Rey Mysterio. This match goes 5 minutes. Rey made a comeback with it was Rey versus Damian Priest. Rey made a comeback with a springboard crossbody that led to only a 1 count. Rey followed this up with the tilt-a-whirl DDT for a 2. He set it for a 619, but Balor jumped on the apron, so Dominic yanked him off. Rey tried for the 619 again, but Priest dropped him with a thrust kick for a near fall. Rey finally got the 619 and went to the top, but Priest blocked a seated senton and hit a Razor's Edge and picked up the victory. Now, after the match, Priest and Balor set up Rey for a concerto. They grabbed a mic and said, "Dom, join the Judgment Day, and this will all be over." They're like asking where Dominic was, and finally Dominic jumps in and on top of his father. He's like, "Fine, I'll join you, I'll join you." So they grabbed him and they stood him up. He's like, "Tell everybody what you just said. What did we hear you say?" He's like, just stop. I'll join the Judgment Day." Priest laughs and goes, "Ha ha ha. It's not that simple." And they beat down Dominic with the chair. Right before they gave Rey the concerto, he rolled out of the ring. And there we go. That was it. We got another one of these Cryptic Edge videos. This is the second one that they've done. So they played the original one last week. Then they played the second one last week. And there we go. So we had an almost 12-minute match with Seth Rollins and Ezekiel. Ezekiel did something early on that upset Rollins, so Rollins pounded away at him in the corner. Byron Saxton gave Ezekiel credit for getting under the skin of Rollins. Rollins was beating him up, and Graves noted how stupid that comment was. Ezekiel tried mounting a comeback, but Rollins tripped him on the top rope and hit a diving knee strike. Ezekiel made a comeback following a break. He hit a stinger splash and a spine buster for a 2. Rollins responded with a thrust kick for a 2. Ezekiel countered a stomp into a cradle and got a 2 again. They then exchanged cradles back and forth before Ezekiel hit a powerbomb, and again, Seth kicks out a 2. Rollins traded a springboard move, but Ezekiel caught him with a leaping knee. Ezekiel went to the top, but Rollins brought him down with a superplex into a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Ezekiel tried another cradle, But Rollins follow cradle for a 2 before Rollins follows up with consecutive elbow strikes and a curb stomp to pick up the victory. So there we go. Rollins beats Ezekiel. Apparently this match happened 2 weeks ago as well. They showed a replay. I have no recollection of that. I had no recollection that this match actually took place 2 weeks ago as well. So the Usos approached Omos and MVP in the back. They said Dawkins didn't stand a chance against the big man and figured he'd be even easier to beat at SummerSlam after this match. The Usos said they would be sitting at ringside to get an up-close and personal first-hand viewing. Got the news that, well, I mean, it's not new news or anything. We've known this for a while. Next week's going to be the Rey Mysterio 20th anniversary celebration. In the back, Balor and Dominic. In the back, Balor said that Dominic failed their test. Priest said that Dominic should have taken the chair and cracked Rey's skull. Next week, Rey will fall, and the Judgment Day will rise. And next week, it is going to be Judgment Day versus the Mysterios next week. So the Usos, when they went out, it was like 6:30 p.m. Pacific. The match between Dawkins and Omos that went a minute and a half didn't even start for almost 20 minutes. Angelo Dawkins took on Omos and won via DQ in a minute and a half. Dawkins was doing his usual comeback. MVP tripped him, which led to a DQ. And Pearson came out and said, "Hey, MVP, I heard what you said earlier that you would love to team up with Omos to take on the Street Profits. Well, I'm going to make that happen because, well, get ready. The match is next." And MVP had to wrestle in a suit sans jacket. Jimmy Uso immediately distracted Dawkins, which allowed Omos to knock him down. Ford tagged in and hit a few strikes, but Omos clubbed him out of the air before hitting a big boot. Dawkins broke up the cover before chucking MVP into the Usos. The referee blocked the Usos as they tried entering the ring. As this was happening, Dawkins and Ford hit Omos with super kicks. Ford hit a frog splash, but Omos kicked out a 1. Ford was shocked here, and the Usos then blatantly attacked Ford for another DQ. 2 DQs in a row. Bad guys beat up Ford and Dawkins, the Street Profits, after the match. Omos dropped both of them with choke slams. Omos then looked like he wanted to go after the Usos, but it didn't happen. And then the Usos stood over the Street Profits with the belts. 2 matches in a row end in damn DQ. Schreiber was about to interview The Miz backstage. Well, first she goes, "And now my get." Beer walks up, and he looks at her, and he's like, "Boo!" And then walks off. Looks at the camera and walks off. Miz finally comes in and goes, "That was unexpected." And then she asked him about Logan Paul being there tonight and what's going to happen in the Miz TV segment and this and that. And Miz kind of just was like, "Hey, if he's smart, he'll stop all this. He wants to fight me stuff and join me. We can be tag team champions." That's about it. Theory then came out and cut a promo. I thought this was a little long, but I felt Theory did a good job combating the what promos and basically just making it part of his promo. Because we've seen in the past, people either get frazzled by them and it just makes them, mess up their lines and freeze and stuff. We've also seen people just totally ignore it, but I loved how how Theory literally just made it part of his promo. So there you go to promo, and the crowd whatted him tremendously. Like, oh my God. He claimed a bunch of superstars didn't like him because they're jealous of him, like Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Madcap Moss, and even Dolph Ziggler. He showed a replay of Dolph Ziggler costing him his match last week before hitting him with a super kick. Theory kept on going before he was interrupted by his opponent for the night, AJ Styles. Styles had a warning for him. Whether you win the U.S. title or the world title, Styles will be first in line to take that title from him. The crowd chanted for Styles. He said the locker room wasn't jealous of you, Theory. We all just think you're a big jackass. Theory then bragged about how much more he's accomplished in such a short time than AJ Styles. He said, I'm 24 years old. I'm here in WWE already, and I'm Mr. Money in the Bank. What were you doing at 24 years old? Wrestling no-shoed hillbillies, hitting them with a phenomenal forearm in a barn somewhere in Georgia? Funny thing, Theory making fun of Georgia. He's from Atlanta. What state's Atlanta? Georgia. Really? The Georgia guy making fun of Georgia. Styles said that he was proud of his upbringing, and it made him what he was today. He said someone who could knock some sense in Theory, and that's him. Styles and Deck Theory. Ziggler would then come out and go to break. But before we go to break, coming back from the break, we had another cryptic video. This one showed a picture of Seth Rollins. This one showed Rey Mysterio's mask, and it also showed The Undertaker's urn. And there's sounds like a group like 5 people just screaming and yelling outside my apartment. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Hopefully you can. There are people out there, I don't know if they're arguing or what, but they're out there yelling. But AJ Styles versus Theory match went 11 and a half minutes and ended in a freaking count out. That's DQ count out. That's not even the end of bad finishes and whatnot. We'll get to that. So Ziggler was watching from ringside, so Theory shoved him to the ground. Styles and Theory went back and forth after a break before Theory hit a rolling drop kick and a cross-legged neck breaker for a 2. Styles applied the calf crusher, but Theory quickly got to the ropes to break it and rolled to the outside. Styles tried a PK, but Theory caught him. Theory teased that he would drive Styles into Ziggler, but Theory dropped him on the announce table instead. As the ref was checking on Styles in the ring, Ziggler nailed Theory with a super kick. Theory then couldn't beat the 10 count, and Styles would win by count out. Theory was pleading his case, but Styles then laid him out in the Styles Clash. Again, Dolph Ziggler getting what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Involved. Dolph Ziggler yet again getting involved in Theory's matches, but with no explanation why. No explanation why. WWE then congratulate themselves on having over 70 billion lifetime views on YouTube. And that they've got more views than F1 and NHL and the NBA and the NFL and ESPN and all these others combined. We then got a really cool 5-minute or so video hyping up Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch with Crazy Town by Jason Aldean playing in the background. We then got another video hyping up the charity work of Titus O'Neil and his the Bullard Family Foundation. Then we had a 6-woman tag team match. That was a straight up comedy match for the 24/7 title. Like, are you kidding me? This was so dumb. The match is going on. Dana Brooks at ringside, and all of a sudden Tozawa appears from under the ring with a referee. Rolls her up after she sees Reggie and gets distracted. 1, 2, 3, Tozawa, new champion. Tozawa then jumps in the ring. Nikki ASH pins him. Bless then pins Nikki to take the title. Doudrop then pins Bliss to take the title. Tamina then pins Doudrop to take the title. Dana Brooke then once again pins Tamina to take back the title, and she runs off. Nikki ASH is in the ring yelling like, I want the belt. I want the belt. That was my belt. She turns around, gets kicked in the head by Asuka. Asuka puts her in the Asuka lock. 1, 2, doop, 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 tap. This was so dumb. More bullshit. So we go DQ, count out, match that doesn't even actually really happen. 24/7 bullshit. Dominic and Rey were in the back. They said that they couldn't believe that the Judgment Day thought that Dominic would actually join them. Rey said Judgment Day weren't the first to try to take down his family and take down the Mysterios. Rey says that he plans next week to show them what it really means to be a Mysterio next week. So next week, we got Rey and Dominic against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Also, Roman Reigns will appear on Raw. They then played footage of MVP, or not MVP. Well, technically he was an MVP. They showed footage of The Miz in the MLB Celebrity Softball game at Dodger Stadium, where he was actually named MVP. So Miz technically hit a home run in Dodger Stadium, but they shortened the outfield. So he hit a home run in their shortened outfield. But Miz doing a lot of celebrity athletics. Last week, he did this. Week before, he was in a celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe. So Miz just getting out there doing all the celebrity stuff, all the celebrity sports stuff. Very cool. Very cool for The Miz. Speaking of The Miz, our main event segment, Miz TV, The Miz, and Logan Paul. The Miz was out there. Like, welcome to Miz TV, and Logan Paul immediately comes out. And he asked The Miz if he would accept his challenge for SummerSlam. Miz brushed this off. And they showed a replay of the two beating the Mysterios at WrestleMania. They cut the footage, and Paul goes, wait. Whoever's in charge back there, can you please keep playing this? And then they show Miz giving Logan Paul a skull-crushing finale. And Miz reiterated what he always keeps saying, I was teaching you a lesson. Always watch your back no matter who's in there with you. Paul said that he was teaching him that he needed to sign a contract with the WWE so he can get that match at SummerSlam. Miz tried to run down his accomplishments. He's like, I'm the only two-time Grand... No, we know, Miz. You're the two-time Grand Slam champion. Nobody cares. Miz called Paul a rookie who didn't deserve the match, so he declined the challenge at first. Paul said he was told plenty of times he couldn't do things. He wasn't ready to do things. He built a social media career like no one before him. He lasted in the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather and built an empire that actually led to him putting Mayweather on his highlight reel. Paul was going to show that he was better than The Miz and said that he'd be here next week at Madison Square Garden. He's going to host his own show, similar of Miz TV. Maybe we'll call it Impulsible or Impulsive TV. Then they did it. They got the crowd to cheer along with Logan Paul. Logan Paul then goes, but I understand like someone like you would decline this match because you got two little blueberries right down there in your pants. He then asked the crowd, chant along with me. Tiny balls, tiny balls, tiny balls, tiny balls. The crowd actually chanted tiny balls with Logan Paul. Miz then ripped open his shirt that says, hello, I have massive balls. And he goes, look, I have massive balls. I even have a T-shirt that says it. Miz got so pissed off that he said, you know what? Fine, I accept your challenge. I'll fight you at SummerSlam. Miz tried to attack Logan Paul, but Logan Paul got the better of Miz, and the crowd erupted, cheered. Before, Miz bailed. Ciampa jumped in and attacked Logan Paul from behind. Miz then tried to join in, but Paul escaped. They showed some replays, and Sarah Schreiber was in the ring. Schreiber appeared in the ring and asked Miz to comment on Paul's statement. And Miz said that this was his house. He's built this place. No one else should be able to come in here and just disrespect him like this. He goes, because I'm the Miz, and then him and Ciampa both yelled, awesome. There we go. There we go. Miz and Logan Paul, official for SummerSlam. 3 matches got announced today for SummerSlam. Riddle versus Rollins. Raw Women's title match, Bianca and Becky. Logan Paul versus The Miz. All matches we expected, but now they are officially announced. But that, guys, that was Monday Night Raw. Banks says, I don't watch Miz and Mrs., but why was their last episode talking about Christmas? Because the show airs in the summer and they film in the fall. That's basically it. They film in the fall and the show airs in the summer. Sometimes they film in the spring because like last season started with like WrestleMania stuff. So it was just because the last season was filmed in the fall. I watch Miss and Misses, though. Well, actually, I watch the first 15 minutes before I go live. It always gives me a nice chuckle. But with that, guys, that was Monday Night Raw. You know what? I thought now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's show. So before we do, remember you guys can always text into 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. Before we do the text messages, let's check the polls. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 78% liked tonight's Raw. 22% didn't like Raw. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 44% did not like it. 40% did like it, and 16% thought it was just all right. Loading up the YouTube poll here. Got to hit that refresh. YouTube community poll. Also, I do want to say thank you to everybody that has helped get us to 172,000 subscribers. This past weekend, we did pass 172,000 subscribers on YouTube. I greatly do appreciate that. But as far as the YouTube poll does go, 53% thought the show was just all right. 28% liked the show, and 20% did not like Raw. Person says it was fine, and this person says garbage. As far as the text messages do go, got two text messages here. Person says, what are your thoughts on Raw going from TVPG to TV14? Well, I've already said it before. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but it isn't yet. Tonight's show was still just TVPG. Keeper says, is there a reason Jimmy Smith wasn't on Raw 2 weeks ago? Also, what did you think of them showing Banks in the Bianca clip for main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania? I mean, I thought nothing of them showing Sasha because they have to if they show Bianca picking up the victory at Mania. Like, they had to. It meant nothing. And Jimmy Smith took the day off after, summer or Money in the Bank. That was it. There's no reason. Took some time off. People can take time off. I mean, Corey Graves took 2 weeks off to get married. As far as them showing Banks, people think, no offense, Texter, but it's like people think, oh my God, they showed, like I saw some tweets about this. Oh my God, they showed Sasha Banks. That means something, right? No, it doesn't. It means nothing. It means nothing. Like, they can't 100% erase Sasha Banks. They can try to edit around Sasha Banks, but if you're showing Bianca Belair picking up the win and doing that right off of the pin, you've got to show Sasha. You've got to show Sasha laying there taking the pin. Or if you show when Bianca gets emotional at the beginning of that match and you see Sasha kind of from behind or the side or whatever. You can try to edit footage around not showing Sasha, but there's just going to be times where there's no getting around it. It's just inevitable. But with that, guys, that's going to wrap everything up here. I want to say thank you for joining me here if you're watching live, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. Thank you if you're watching or listening later, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Google Pod, Apple Pod, and so much more. With that, guys, we'll see you back here live on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Have a great rest of your Monday. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.